Hi everybody, it's Calvin, and I'm back from the dead. So this is the character editor? Viewer? This is the character viewer for Paradise Never. This is where I go to preview changes that I have made to the characters. So what I do is I edit a spreadsheet which says, say, what color the shirt should be. And then I hit generate, and it refreshes it and shows me the color of the shirt. So I won't necessarily show you guys a bunch of edits right now because it's just editing spreadsheets, but I will show you the spreadsheets. So yeah, so last week we talked about the animation system. You can see I can also preview a few different animations. There's the walk animation. Particularly not that happy with the walk animation right now, actually. There's bending over animation. This is basically where I do my stuff. And I can also click the NPC button to have an NPC so I can compare scale. And if you think that's silly, it is. But it's basically because if I was looking at, like, for instance, a boat model, I might want to see how big an NPC, a typical NPC, was compared to that boat. So there you have it. We can set the animations, and now we have the other NPC overlaid, so it's not so hot. Fun! Look at that. Oh, okay, let's just not go there. Okay, next thing I'm going to show you guys is a spreadsheet. So the first spreadsheet that I want to show you is the animation profile spreadsheet. So all this does is when I have drawn an animation, like I showed you guys last week, I go in and I have to tell it a little bit about it. So for instance, so the backstroke has an orientation that the character is on their back and they're in water. So this has implications for how the game chooses to draw the character, essentially. Basically, it rotates them, and in water, I forget even what that does. That might affect like how the particles are generated or something. It also has head orientation. You remember that the head anchor was just a couple little cyan pixels saying where the head should be attached, but I also have to tell it which direction roughly the head should point. So when they're on their back in the water, it points up. Yeah, so these are the different animations. You can also maybe get a handle for how many different animations I have to make. So there's about 77 right now, and I think by the time we're finished, they'll be probably up around 200 or something like that. So yeah, so that's the first spreadsheet. This is the first spreadsheet that I go to when I've created a new animation, and I would in fact preview that in the editor or the viewer that I just showed you. So I draw the animation, I'd add a little button that lets me preview the animation, and then I'd add the animation in here, and like that, I'd be able to preview it. One more spreadsheet, and then I will let you guys go home for the weekend. So this is the NPC spreadsheet. This is the master spreadsheet for all of the NPCs. I've deleted everybody except Bridget so that there won't be too many spoilers, and I have also deleted a lot of columns for the same reason. So this is where I go in to set, for instance, the skin tone or the shirt color or the pants color, and you can see it's really quite easy for me. So I can just, for instance, if I wanted to color match that shirt in the last, in the viewer, you might have noticed that the shirt didn't really match colors. I could just pick a pixel off of the portrait art, dump it in here, and it would in fact match pretty closely. There's a few other colors. There's pants color, skin tone, of course, and in addition, though, there are these fields for stamps. So stamps are basically the little decals and things that get added. Those decals could be flat, like for instance the eyes are just a flat stamp, but they could also be curved, so they could be like hair. So I have a whole other system for doing the hair, and I'll have to show you guys that sometime. This is the master spreadsheet, and this is where I can go in and quickly change things out for the characters. And it's important because there are, like I said, there's about 50 NPCs in the game, and they all need to look a little different. Hopefully all look reasonable once the game's done. I do have a lot of different things that I'm trying to improve with the NPCs, and I will unfortunately not be able to get to that till probably close to the end of production of the game. So the NPCs as they are now, probably you should get used to seeing them that way, but hopefully by the time the game is done I will have some time and be able to make some changes here. But it will in fact require going back and redoing a bunch of animations and a bunch of other work, and I have just a whole lot of stuff in other parts of the game to do first, and so I'm going to leave the NPCs as is, but hopefully this has been a nice quick overview showing you guys how the NPCs are set up and kind of what my day-to-day is when I want to go in and adjust something with them. Alright, so thanks. So leave me a comment and tell me what you think, and especially tell me what you'd like to see for future videos. Over and out!